X. I wanted to go live briefly. Breaking news, I guess you could say. Um, Nobody was expecting it, or at least not expecting it anytime soon, but they were. Some of us were expecting this decision to come or evolve in the way it did, and that is the U.S. Supreme Court issued a ruling. They have basically reversed the injunction that was prohibiting the U.S. Border Patrol from tearing down the concertina wire in Eagle Pass here in the state of Texas. The ruling was basically 5-4 with the Supreme Court justices. They ruled to basically eliminate or overturn the injunction that the Fifth Circuit Appeals affirmed. Now it's all to the federal government to act. They're going to have to take the next step, whether it is recover or seize and recover Shelby Park. I don't know how that's going to work out. A lot of people are pissed off about it. They're miffed because they're saying that the Biden administration is favoring the open borders because of it. That's not necessarily the case. As you know, and I've said this emphatically, repeatedly, the issue here is not who is right as far as Texas is right for defending her borders. It's basically the fact that the fact of the matter that everything that the state of Texas has done thus far has been in violation of federal law. It's been basically circumvention after circumvention of federal ruling or federal laws. I've said this time and time again that there's no way Texas can win this if their efforts are violating U.S. laws. That is probably most likely the case. What happened here was that the moment that Texas crossed the line was when they seized Shelby Park and blocked the U.S. Border Patrol from patrolling that area. And I think that was the turning point in all of this situation that has occurred. Had they not done that, more than likely we wouldn't be at this juncture where we are now. But unfortunately, events played out the way they did, and now that the Supreme Court was faced with these supplementals and this emergency order to overturn the injunction because of Texas actions, when they looked at it, obviously they said, okay, this is, Texas can't get away with this because they're violating certain federal laws, and because they chose the course of action that they did, they're not entitled to the injunction that they have in place. That's basically, I think, what happened in a nutshell. Now, the question is this. Before I pose this question, Governor Abbott and specifically Attorney General Ken Paxton have said that this will not stand, that they're going to defend Texas sovereignty, and they're going to bring this dispute to the Fifth Circuit. Now, here's the kicker. I said, I believe in the last live stream that I did, that that the U.S., by filing the supplementals that they did at the Supreme Court, they were basically assuring themselves of getting a decision that could not be reversed. I don't know what Texas stands to gain by bringing it and having the en-banc hearing at the Fifth Circuit, because of the fact that the Supreme Court has ruled that the border patrol has the right to cut the concertina wire. Basically, their decision has given the inclination that Texas is in the wrong. Now, how Texas didn't want to go into this at the Fifth Circuit and say, okay, we need another order to block the U.S. The question is, can the Fifth Circuit overturn an action by the U.S. Supreme Court? I don't think so. They cannot. So as it stands, even if they go to the en banc hearing, the Fifth Circuit is going to be very restricted in what they can do because of a superior ruling already at the Supreme Court level. Even though it's an order and it's not necessarily a final decision. What's going to probably happen is that the Fifth Circuit is going to, in light of what happened today, they're going to defer judgment until a time that the Supreme Court hears the entire lawsuit that's in their docket and issues a ruling. So basically, by the Supreme Court ruling the way they did, or issuing the order that they did today, they have basically, I guess you can say, tied the hands of the appeals court in that respect. Because the appeals court cannot issue another order overruling the U.S. Supreme Court. I don't see that happening. Because even if they were able to do it, the U.S. could appeal it to the Supreme Court and say, "Look, you've already given an order to dissolve or to overturn a previous injunction. This injunction cannot stand because of your previous order or ruling." So it's going to be a matter. Basically, it's going to be a stalemate in a sense, but it's also going to put the final step on the U.S. government because they're going to have to make the next move to retake Shelby Park, to cut all that concertina wire, remove the border barriers, or move the border barriers, or whatever it is they're going to do to regain control. And as I said, many people are upset about it, but what they fail to understand is that Texas has been circumventing federal law. If you think about it, they talk about state sovereignty. The problem is the issue here, and the courts already said that the issue is not whether Texas has sovereignty or not. It's the fact that Texas has violated federal laws. That's the crux of it. That's basically it. So now we have to wait and see exactly what the federal government is going to do with respect to Shelby Park and concertina wire and the Texas National Guard. Now, it's been said the Texas National Guard, or by many have said, well, the Texas National Guard is going to have to stand their ground. Problem is, if they stand their ground, or if they were to do something like that, all they're doing is subjecting themselves to federal prosecution and maybe federal prison time for obstructing federal operations, federal law. Do we want them to go that route? That's a good question. Some people say yes, some people say no. I don't know. I'm of the argument that if Texas is violating federal law like they have been, all their efforts, that even though they mean well, they still have to be accountable for their actions. That's the hard facts and the hard reality. So it's just a matter of right now waiting to see what's going to happen. Whether or not Abbott's going to give the order to stand down, whether he's going to have the National Guard defend their position, I don't know what's going to happen. But what I can say, and what I have been saying all afternoon, is that Texas was dealt a massive slam, a massive blow by this order from SCOTUS, from the Supreme Court of the U.S., with respect to the overturning of the injunction that Texas had at in their possession at the time, with respect to all the concertina wire and the razor wire, everything that they've been doing at the border. And unfortunately, Texas has nobody but to blame but themselves. I think in all due respect, as I said earlier, they took it one step too far by seizing the park, and now they've sealed their fate, basically, with respect to the courts, the federal courts. I don't think they're going to have any other legal recourse, because this ruling in the Supreme Court is pretty much going to restrict a lot of what is going on in the lower courts that Texas has with these lawsuits, especially in the Fifth Circuit. Well, wait and see. That's all I can say. I just wanted to touch base on this briefly, because this is breaking news, as it were, and I wanted to kind of talk about it a little bit, and which was what I did. I'm going to be monitoring what's going on, see what happens, and if anything new happens, obviously I'll come back on live and talk more about it. But in the meantime, we're gonna have to just be in a wait and see mode to see exactly what the federal government is going to do. Well, that's it for now, and maybe I'll see you guys live later on tonight. If not, another day.